getting into the topic, we should have a quick revision on law of demand. Law of demand states that when price of a commodity increases, people's demand for that commodity decreases. And when price of the commodity decreases, people's demand for that commodity increases. This is because of the motive of any consumer to get maximum satisfaction on the commodity while paying the minimum amount as possible. In the graph, x-axis denotes quantity demanded and y-axis denotes price of the commodity. And because of the inverse relationship between price and the quantity demanded, the demand curve always slopes downwards towards the right. And to know about the Giffen Paradox, we should have a basic understanding on the word paradox. Paradox literally means a self-contradictory statement that highlights two conflicting ideas. In economics, it is a situation where the variables or applications fails to follow the general laid principle and assumption of the theory, and it behaves in an opposite fashion. Paradoxes are very common in economics. Giffen paradox is one such. What are Giffen goods? They are special kind of inferior goods on which consumer spends large part of their income. We can see in country which is suffering from huge financial crisis or large poverty or involving in wars, they depend mainly on inferior goods known as Giffen goods. The paradox here is the consumer behavior in case of Giffen goods goes against the law of demand and violates the law of demand. When the price of Giffen goods increases, their quantity demanded does not decrease, but on contrary, people will start to buy more of those goods, causing increase in demand. Similarly, when price decreases, quantity demanded does not increase as per law of demand, but quantity demanded of Giffen goods decreases. Giffen goods are named after Sir Robert Giffen because he is the one who discovered that poor people will demand more of inferior goods if their prices rise and demand less if their prices fall. He found that during 19th century in Ireland, people contributed most of their income in purchasing potatoes, which is considered as inferior goods, and contributed only less part of their income in purchasing meat, which is considered as superior commodity. And when price of potato rises, people had to economize on meat, and to fill up the resulting gap, they had to purchase more amount of potatoes. Here, though there is rise in price of potatoes, people increase their demand, which violates the law of demand. Thus, it is known as Giffen paradox. We can also see in the demand curve of Giffen goods that it violates the law of demand, because as per law of demand curve always slopes downwards towards the right. But in case of Giffen goods, because of the direct relationship between quantity demanded and the price, demand curve always slopes upwards, which is contradicting the law of demand. This Giffen paradox is due to the concept of income effect. Income effect says that when there is fall in price of a commodity, it gives same effect as increasing in the income of a person. Or when there is rise in price of a commodity, it gives same effect as decrease in the income of the consumer. When there is fall in price of a commodity, the consumer no more wants to spend the same amount which he spent earlier for buying a quantity of a commodity. Thus, he can save some money for buying additional unit of the same commodity or for buying any other commodity. And in case of rise in price of a commodity, the consumer must either constrain the expenditure in purchasing this commodity, or he should constrain the expenditure in purchasing some other commodity and substitute the money and invest in purchasing this commodity. For poor people consuming large amount of inferior goods, whenever the price of inferior goods rises, it gives the same effect as if there is decrease in their income. So, people reduce their expenditure on purchasing some superior goods and conserve their income and demand for more of inferior goods. This is the reason for Giffen Paradox, and I hope we all got a basic idea of Giffen Paradox, and thank you for